welcome. Excuse me, or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. If you're here, you may be a 4-1 or opportunist investigator profile. If you're not, there's a link below to get your human design chart, and you would want to look for your profile number once you get it. So I figured we would just kind of do a quick overview of your profile this time around. I do have every intention of just kind of bringing some new information. I have a first line on the design side as well. I'm a 5-1 profile, and I love learning other people's perspectives on stuff. It helps broaden my knowledge and expands my mind. So I do have the intention of, just finding some other perspectives from other people who post stuff about their understanding of human design. So anyway, you are the opportunist investigator, and this profile only makes up 2% of the population. So very unique. You're the only profile that has a fixed fate, meaning it's kind of like there's more of a linear type of path, which is not a bad thing. And if it's kind of like if you feel like it is, then that's conditioning, right? Like that would be because at some point in your life, people would have basically projected on you that maybe you're a bit hard-headed, maybe you're a bit, kind of singular focused. Like maybe you don't compromise as much, or maybe you need like more information in order to compromise. Like if you found yourself kind of going along with the group, the quote unquote group, after a certain point, like you might just kind of find yourself discombobulated and like, what the hell am I doing here? Right? Which, it just kind of takes you out of like your own authenticity. So maybe you kind of switched tracks. There's that song by Erykah Badu, Didn't You Know? I absolutely love that song. And now I'm trying to pick out the part of the chorus but I have to sing the whole song in my head. Like when you are trying to figure out where a letter is in the alphabet, you have to go through the full alphabet. But she talks about like getting off course and her heart bringing her back. I love that song. Maybe check it out. Erykah Badu, Didn't You Know? Now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head, which I absolutely love. I'm fine with that. So anyway, and along with your profile, you're designed to study, to learn and establish a solid foundation in an area of life that fascinates you, right? And if you don't know what that is, or if you just want some more information, take a look at your personality sun and earth. So that would be, of course I don't have my chart laying around here, but that would be on the right-hand side, the numbers in black, the top 2 numbers are your personality sun and earth. So take a look at those gates. You can just Google what those gates are. And they'll give you some additional information on and see if it even strikes an interest in you. And more than likely, they're already something that you find yourself gravitating towards anyway. You can always drop a comment and I can provide some information out of the line companion guide that I have. Anyway, what else do I want to say about you guys before we get started? I guess the last thing that I want to say, and I don't think that I have said it yet. I did mention, you know, like influencing others, because that fourth line is all about community, friendships, networking, right? And that first line having to do with investigating and wanting to know like how things work and knowing the ins and outs and being kind of an expert on something. So, you know, you want to, like, with that knowledge that you get from the first line, you use that basically, you know, to influence your network, your community, you know, like your friends, to share that information. It's like, it's not necessarily like, you know, 5-1s are here to kind of influence strangers, right? Like familiarity for 5-1s or for fifth lines breeds contempt, excuse me. But for fourth lines, they kind of need that familiarity with people. So it's the opposite of a fifth line. I hope that makes sense. And I'm only saying that because I zoned out for a second. So I want to be sure that I like kind of finished my thought. Oh, after I get these cards out, I'm going to grab my second cup of coffee and then we'll get into this. So I'll shuffle with a little bit more intention here. We're looking for a message for our opportunist investigators. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. We have the Four of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 6 of Pentacles, and 4 of Wands, and then the Moon at the bottom of the deck. Okay. So we'll just kind of work through the cards here. I love that we start with a 4 and we end with a 4. Right? Like, love that. So, you know, the Four of Wands, wands having to do with action, communication. I see them as being information cards as well, whether you're getting information or you're giving it. And the Four of Wands talks about like reaching a place of stability. Like, you know, there's these 4 wands here, which generally, you know, like kind of represents like a square or a rectangle that talks about having a sturdy foundation. There's a harmony and union that goes into the Four of Wands. Like sometimes it's depicted, you know, by people getting married. But again, you know, it's almost kind of like resources coming together, combining resources, combining information. So yeah, I mean, just reaching a point of stability. I was trying to think of a different word, but stability, of course, was like the only thing that was going through my mind. I wanted to say security, actually. And it could have, it's something that's been maybe just weighing on your mind for some time. We have the Ten of Swords here. And, the Ten of Swords is a completion. The 10 is the end, right? We go back to the Ace after the 10. And, we can kind of see, it's a bit morbid, but we can kind of see there's these 10 swords in this baby bird. I'm kind of curious, like, what the book says about, let's see. You may feel as though someone is trying to push you out or take over your rightful position, and as a result, you find yourself in a state of victimhood. The Ten of Swords may indicate an event in the near future that will result in suffering at the hands of someone who uses your weakness to their advantage to further their position. Are we really the ones who are being brushed aside, or are we playing the martyr's role? Do you find yourself giving in to others' desires only to turn around and complain about how your needs are always second? That's interesting. Because like I was kind of saying at the beginning, right? If you find yourself going along with other people or the group, or even, if you are in partnership here, if you are compromising your needs, if you're compromising yourself, right? Like if you are compromising what you know to be true of yourself, then that's, why the Ten of Swords would be showing up. And it's also kind of like I said, with the 10 being a completion, there's an opportunity here, and even like a need to address that. We have the Queen of Pentacles here. Pentacles have to do with our time, money, how we make it, how we spend it, how we save it. Again, resources, materials. It's also our physical body. Every time I see a pentacle, I'm going to bring up the physical body because, pentacles deal with the 3D world. In these, bodies that we're living in, during our lifetime. And with the queens, it's, the energy that we feel. Like, it's like we have to recognize the energy of the suit within ourselves before we can recognize it with other people and then share that, which is the King of Pentacles. So this could be, the face that you're putting on, because, the Queen of Pentacles is very nurturing, very, compassionate. It's like that mother hen type of feeling. The person who always kind of takes care of everything else. grab my coffee over here. And paired with the Six of Pentacles, it's kind of like, you know, there's this intention of like, you're doing it so that you get it in return. Right? Like how there's kind of this like unspoken thing about like, if I do this for you, you return that energy to me. Now, this can be going back, you know, to the Four of Wands. This can be in any type of partnership because, you know, we start here with the Four of Wands that have, there's two energies in this card. There's generally always two energies, if not more, in the Four of Wands. So, you know, there is somebody else that you would be dealing with, and this could be a partnership, whether that's romantic, it could be a platonic, you know, friendship or your friend group. It could be business, you know, like whether you own your own business or within your job, right? So of course it's just gonna, you know, my point is just take it obviously how it resonates here, because it goes from, you know, more than one energy, and this is all it seems like about you over here and how you are operating within this relationship. So the Six of Pentacles talks about reciprocal energy. You know, what you give, you get back. And, you know, it's kind of like there's this constant loop of, you know, energy flowing around. It's kind of a little bit of karma mixed in there, but specifically this card talks about, you know, so there's this ox, I think it's called like an oxtail bird or something like that. And it eats the ticks off of I don't know, is it oxen? I don't know. Whatever the plural is for ox. So it's kind of like this mutual beneficial relationship type of thing, right? Like the bird is here to eat the ticks, and that helps obviously the ox. However, the bird is taking more than just the tick. Right now it's starting to dip into the flesh here. So this card specifically talks about, you know, is the energy reciprocal between, like in your situation, or is somebody taking too much? That could be you, it could be the other person or people involved. But again, you know, kind of trying to stay in this energy of the Queen of Pentacles, like, no, it's fine, it's fine. It's fine, you know, but it's not. It's actually not fine. Like, you know, you're not really getting what you want to be getting out of this situation. I can see why that Erykah Badu song is coming up. I really hope you check it out. Because we move over here to this Eight of Swords, which is kind of like this like self-induced kind of mind prison, like just kind of feeling like you're stuck, feeling like, you know, mentally, right? Like you can't figure out a way around a situation. It's also maybe a fear of communicating your needs. Like if that's not something that you were brought up practicing, then it's really hard to start, frankly, because we've already been in this energy of people pleasing and worrying about other people's reaction to us, expressing our feelings and all of those things. But yeah, I mean, like even just kind of looking in here, it just kind of looks like, it just makes you dizzy looking at it, right? So I can imagine how that would feel in the mind. Even, this top row here, the Four of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords, again, it's like, this is the presentation, like this is how it looks on the outside, but inside, it's not good. Like inside of your mind or the actual reality of it, not the way that you present it, to other people, but the way that it lives in your mind isn't great. They're not matching, right? And then we have the Four of Swords here, and the Four of Swords talks about rest and healing, because it's coming right off of the Three of Swords, which talks about heartbreak and rejection, disappointment. So this is a time to give yourself a break and give your time the space to heal and even decide like what you want to do. Like, figure out what you want to say, how you want to say it. What is even your thoughts, like truly, about this situation? And I love that they're like, kind of hibernating, like, kind of, hiding away a little bit. And it's not necessarily about like hiding. That's not usually beneficial. But it is if it's for the intention of, really kind of sorting your own stuff out. It could even be walking away from, because, there's these Three Swords here, and there's this one sword with, I don't know what that is. Is that like a raccoon? No. Is it? Let me see if it says. Oh, it's a hedgehog. Boundaries, rest, going inward. Take a step back and seek out space away from distractions for a little quiet contemplation. You may be experiencing a bombardment of input coming in from those around you who are pushing an agenda or offering unsolicited guidance or advice. See, and this is the thing about your profile, right? It's like, you already know. And, like you can maybe have conversations with people, of course, and of course you can have conversations with people, but it's not like you are looking for them to tell you what to do. It's more about, again, it's kind of like this information gathering thing, and you're going to do what you want to do anyway, as you should, because that's part of your design. Even, this bottom row, the Ten of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords, like, again, like this was even, both of these cards were kind of saying about like being, like having an agenda pushed on you, or other people, kind of projecting their thoughts and their opinions and whatever onto you. And this feeling of it being off balance, they're really kind of overstepping and taking more than they're giving. Like, you're not getting much out of the situation. However, I do want to there's, I think, 5 or 6 major arcana cards. So it seems like there's definitely an opportunity here to almost kind of take your power back. So we start with the moon, right? The moon talks about our subconscious. It also talks about like our fears. It talks about secrets. Like it's also like that there's some information that has not been brought to light yet. So it's kind of, like all of those, I don't want to say, I mean, I like hesitate to use the word shadow. But it is, again, like even talking about going inward with like, same with the Four of Swords was talking about that. And there's this element of like discovery here, but then we have the Justice card. And the moon is who? Pisces, I believe. So there could be a Pisces. In your realm, doesn't have to be. And then we have Justice. This is the card of Libra. But again, even talking about karma, we have the Six of Pentacles down there. Talking about karma, this is, the scales balancing. There's a logical aspect. And again, even this sword here, right, which is the same sword that this hedgehog is lying on top of. And that is a sword of truth, right? So bringing some honesty to a situation, maybe even getting, like honest with yourself. But again, the scales are balancing here. So there's a level of fairness. And like I was saying, even with this Six of Pentacles, more give and take, less give. And then we have Temperance. And Temperance is a card of Sagittarius, which talks about alchemy, right? Like the energies start shifting. There's, an element of patience that goes along with Temperance. So it's also kind of like, give this thing some time to adjust, right? Like if you are going to set a boundary, which this reading is saying is needed in the situation, or even just coming back to yourself, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be like this big, kind of production. It can be something that happens gradually. It's like allowing things to almost kind of catch up to you, or allowing the energies to adjust around you or recalibrate. Oh, we have the Tower. So this would be, like what needs to go, let it go. Like if this is people, if this is, a way of thinking, a way of being, the Tower is only going to take out those things that no longer serve us. And that's, and I love that these two are next to each other, because, Temperance is that energy where, it's like I said, it's recalibrating. So what no longer serves you is going to go. And then I love how we have the devil, we have the Devil behind the Star card, which talks about hope. Trusting the process also. This is a card of Aquarius. And then we have the Devil, which is Capricorn. But this talks about those chains that bind us, right? Like what are the things that control our actions and our minds. That is going to be brought up here for you to address. And then we have the Six of Swords behind there, which means like you are moving beyond this. And I love this turtle. It reminds me of Finding Nemo with those turtles. But, you know, like moving forward, that's the Six of Swords. Moving beyond this energy, which, you know, I know is not, it's not necessarily easy to do, you know. Oh, how many were, yeah, six major arcana cards. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Really. I mean, the odds of that happening, you know, like shuffling or whatever, it's pretty rare. So it's just, you know, like this whole thing just kind of feels like finding your way back to yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your fixed perspective. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with even following the group. It's, again, it's information, right? It's learning what works and what doesn't work for you. And if this doesn't seem like it's working for you, whatever this is, whatever this Four of Wands is. And there's an opportunity here to get yourself back on your path. And like I said, it's not easy because if there's other people involved, which it seems like there is, you know, obviously just navigate it with compassion for yourself and for them, right? I'm going to leave it there because the dogs are going to start going crazy. So thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon.